Who could blame a player who is just starting out for wanting to play with those who can help him advance in his career? You can have the right motivational attitude like Anthony Edwards and aim for the #1 spot in the draft, so it's not so crazy for Obi Toppin to set out to play for the Golden State Warriors and for Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to give him a hand in becoming a superstar. Sound too ambitious? Dreaming doesn't cost anything, but to avoid that expression of desire, we'll tell you why the young Obi is aiming for such a feat. Stay with us until the end of the video and you'll find out every detail. Obi Toppin is a 22-year-old Dayton Flyers player who plays in the forward position and has just been declared eligible for the next NBA draft. And he has made it known which team he wants to play for. This is all we should know to understand that he has a chance to fulfill his most desired goal, to play for the Golden State Warriors. Even Stephen Curry's parents said so it's a serious thing. That's right, Toppin made it known via Stephen Curry's parents that he wants to play alongside their son, and Klay Thompson, adding his skills and thereby putting the Warriors back in contention for the NBA championship. In other words, do you understand that the boy is not asking for something, but offering his ability to get the Golden to the ring next season? Don't you envy his modesty? Obi Toppin is a 6'9", 218-pound wing, born in Brooklyn on March 4th, 1998. His career is quite far from most other prospects, as he did not receive any scholarship offers at the end of his high school career, which led him to compete for a year in graduate school with Mount Zion Preparatory School. There, helped by a significant growth in stature, he began to stand out and attract the attention of different universities. Finally, he opted for the Dayton Flyers. Toppin already showed great conditions in his freshman campaign, 14.4 points and 5.6 rebounds, with a spectacular 67 field goal percent. However, it was in 2019 to 2020 where he definitely scored among the most decisive players in the competition. 20 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.2 steals, 63% from the field, and 39% in three-pointers. To such an extent that he received the honor of being named the AP Player of the Year, something that drew a lot of attention from several headhunters of the teams in the NBA. When analyzing Toppin, one cannot begin with any other factor than his incredible natural conditions. The New Yorker not only has a physical profile ideal for a pivot wing, but he is also an elite athlete at the level of the best in the NBA. Toppin's numbers as a finisher near the hoop speak for themselves. According to Hoop Math, he fired an extraordinary 83% in that kind of shot, which to be frank, was largely overturned. This is an ideal target for alley-oops and a constant threat when running the course. He literally plays above the hoop. Since this record, 1992, in the big conferences, only 3 players have had a higher percentage in doubles than Toppin, 69% in his career, with at least 500 total attempts. Udoka Azubuike, current Kansas figure, 75%, Michael Bradley, 70%, and Jelani McCoy, 69%. The difference is that, among those 3 players mentioned, they combined to score 12 total triples, all in Bradley's hands, during 265 NCAA games. Toppin, on the other hand, has established himself as a capable and dangerous three-point shooter. He scored 43 out of 103 in Dayton, for an excellent 42%. Not many attempts, 1.6 per game, but efficient and with room to strengthen that part of his game. Having a player capable of damaging with both the pick and roll and the pick and pop is a very important weapon for any NBA offense. But generally, a team like the Golden Warriors, which has made 5 consecutive appearances in the NBA Finals, wouldn't have the opportunity to recruit an elite prospect like Obi Toppin. However, due to backcourt injuries to Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, the Golden Warriors have been in tank mode all season long. With a dismal 15-50 record in the league before the NBA season was suspended, the Warriors are competing for the first pick in the NBA draft. If all goes well, they can make some moves that will get them out of the awkward moment. On the other hand, while Toppin recently was named the Associated Press's College Basketball Player of the Year, the 6'9" forward laughs ironically about being ranked so low, instead of #1. But Obi has seen his stock rise even more recently. At NBAMockDraft.net, the simulator that placed the Dayton sophomore as high as #2 for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Toppin was in the midst of a spectacular season for the Flyers, averaging 20 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.2 blocks, and 1 steal per game, while shooting 63.3% from the floor and 39% from the back. Unfortunately, unlike the NBA, the end of the college basketball season was suspended and fans never got a chance to see Toppin at the NCAA tournament. With a solid 29-2 record, Dayton had a good chance to go high in the tournament, giving Toppin even more opportunities to showcase his talent. But in any case, would it serve to guide good Obi to know the intentions of his longed-for team? Well, here's a hint. In principle, we know that the Warriors want nothing to do with LaMelo Ball in the draft. Some talk about problems in shooting and defense as decisive factors for the franchise, which could bring him down in the draft if he gets the one. With the date of the draft still in the air, it's still June 25th, but the franchises have already asked the NBA to delay it. The directives don't stop working. They are not doing it live, watching the current progress of the players in training and games, but they are starting from what they had left until now, and making a map of what their decisions could be in one of the most expected nights of the year. This time, however, without any expectations as other times. The group of youngsters approaching the NBA is not dazzling, and many specialists indicate that the favorites to number 1 would be chosen between 6 and 10 in any other draft. One such favorite is LaMelo Ball. ESPN places the youngest of the Ball family in the second place behind Anthony Edwards, although during the first months of the season it placed him in the top of the list. So this is where the Golden State Warriors, the last place in the league, come in. After the changes in the lottery percentages of the draft that were applied last year, the worst record has a 14% chance of taking the number 1 and a 52% of getting one of the first 4 choices. There are many options for the Warriors to choose very high, and if that happens, it seems that LaMelo is not an option for them. The Bay Area franchise is handling several reports that their shot is unreliable and questioning their level of attention to defense. LaMelo played just 12 games in the A-League before being injured, although his performance was enough to catapult him to the top of the draft projections. It is true, however, that his pitching percentage leaves something to be desired, with 37% of pitches in the press covering the Warriors. They are already talking about their shooting selection being in evidence in a team with Curry and Clay on the side. Hey, here's Obi raising his hand, don't you see? Patience, we'll get to Toppin's chances. We were saying that LaMelo's defensive problems don't fit in at all with the mentality of the team, famous all over the world for its attack, but champion 3 times and finalist 5 times also for its defense, one of the best in the league during those glorious years. So, should the Warriors be the first choice, almost everyone believes that they would go for Edwards, who by now has become an almost unanimous number 1 due to the absence of his rivals, LaMelo injured and Wiseman fired. What is not so clear is that the Golden is content to choose in the first place. It seems a contradiction, but everything has its explanation. Next year, the Warriors will have Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson healthy, Draymond Green rested, and Andrew Wiggins as a new option, all of which makes them candidates for the ring. How could Obi Toppin not be thinking of caressing glory with them? If in the next draft there were a Zion Williamson or a Luka Doncic, they would think twice about taking the first choice. But as it seems that won't be the case, what they are planning is to lower their positions. This has been confirmed by Joe LaCob himself, one of the owners of the franchise. Quote, "Let's look at all the possible scenarios. I'm not going to hide from you that we're looking at which player might fit our position, and maybe we'll change our position. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's safe, but we're assessing it." End quote. What would you gain from that? Getting 2 lower choices instead of 1 higher one? Or a lower choice and a player? What would already be a matter of negotiating with another franchise that for whatever reason is interested in raising positions in the draft? In a year where there doesn't seem to be that much difference in the top 3 and the rest, choosing a little lower doesn't hurt that much, especially if your goal is to win already, as it will be the Warriors next season. And in that case, what you want to achieve in the draft are players who contribute at a high level of demand and competitiveness from the very first moment. That is, to prioritize those who arrive more done than others with a higher ceiling, but an uncertain present. And finally, there would enter the names of Obi Toppin, Isaac Okoro, or Denny Avdija, who in San Francisco seem to like much more than LaMelo Ball. Bingo! After all, the journey may be long, but Obi's hopes are intact. But this was only Obi's first move to reach his goal. This is just the beginning. Do you think he'll make it? We hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out some of these videos on the screen that we're sure you'll love.